When I was a kid, I moved around quite a bit. Somewhere along the line, I started to think of myself as a lone wolf. I got really comfortable with the idea and the identity that I don't need anybody. And it felt safer that way because people aren't always nice. You can't always count on them. And a lot of times they move or I move. Something else is that a lot of us might have been prioritizing more so on our romantic relationships. I think that works maybe when we were younger, but as adults, even if you're in the most wonderful romantic partnership, it cannot sustain all of who we are. Additionally, it's a pretty boring relationship if there is not a lot of injection from other things that you do separately. And I'm starting to see more and more this romanticization of friendships. And I am so here for it. But I totally get it. Making friends is awkward. As adults, I think it is harder, but in a way, it's a little bit easier as well. If we are to select quality friends, we have to feel worthy enough to show people the true selves that we are. And also what we like in another person. You have to really become self-aware enough to know your preferences and to know that I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, nor do I expect someone else to always be a cup of tea. Establish a core sense of self and of your inner worth so that you are able to discern people that are meant for you or not meant for you. It is critically important to set the foundation that always starts right here. Even though my videos are primarily on this individual journey of healing and self-transformation or evolution, I have come to truly believe that growth happens most in relationship with another. Whether it's someone you're really close to or a stranger on the street, it is in those moments that we can best see ourselves clearly. And this journey of transformation or healing cannot happen only in solitude. Maybe this doesn't apply to you, but as someone like myself who moves around a lot, or even as someone who finds themselves going through change quite often, like who I am today is not who I was a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And sometimes I do find that as I change, some of the friendships are no longer aligned. Sometime last year, my bestest friend of more than a decade, we broke up. It didn't end very well. It was not a good breakup. And initially I was quite sad. I felt betrayed. I was very angry. Once that friendship ended and was in the rearview mirror, I realized how much that singular friendship had kept me stuck in a very small, safe bubble. A bubble that was no longer aligned with who I was becoming. It kept me in this very small, safe place where I thought I only need one best friend and that's enough. I had developed a kind of social anxiety without even realizing. Because I no longer had that safety blanket of that one friendship, I allowed myself to become a different version of me, and it opened this whole wide world. And I think that's something that's important for us to consider, especially as adults in our 20s and 30s. How many friends that you have in your life are actually keeping you small or keeping you stuck as the same version of yourself? Because that's the version that they knew from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, since you were a baby maybe. I think it's important and not talked about enough that we should be actively evaluating our ongoing friendships. And loyalty was always huge for me. It took that one friendship ending for me to realize sometimes we outgrow people that are the closest to us. And then I don't need to remind us again, the famous quote that says, we are the 5 people we spend the most time with. So consider carefully who are the 5 closest people that you have in your life. Are they genuinely supportive of who you are and who you want to become? Or are they just there simply out of convenience in your history together? And how much does their presence, their attitude, the way that they see the world, the way they feel about others and themselves affect who you are? I have this ongoing joke with my friends, which is do as I say, not as I do. But for this video, I'm actually gonna do as I say. And so tonight I'm actually going to dinner with 5 strangers, and I'm using this friendship app called Time Left. You take a quick survey that answers some questions about yourself, like your age, what you do, what your interests are, and then they match you with 5 strangers that you go and have a dinner or drinks with. I love this idea because the me from 2-3 years ago would have never wanted to do something like this. It would have sounded terrible. Experiences like this helps push me outside of my comfort zone, because obviously everybody who signed up to go to this dinner are people who are genuinely looking for friends. And I will do a follow-up and let you guys know how the dinner went at the end of this video. I wanted to talk about something practical. If you do have social anxiety, like I used to, in one of my TikTok videos, I talked about how Dakota Johnson is the prime example of how to be yourself, even if you're awkward as fuck. She has this really weird off-putting vibe, and I mean that in the greatest compliment, but she really leans into it.
I definitely have anxiety, but it makes me hyper present. So maybe that's what it is.
Ooh, say more about that. That's cool.
I don't know. It makes me just like, I'm so here. My brain doesn't go to a million places trying to figure out what to say next. I'm just like very present.
Anytime I'm in a group dynamic where I'm not incredibly comfortable and I don't feel like being my full self, I just kind of ease and relax and take a step back and just start really paying attention to what everyone is saying, to the group dynamic, to how people are expressing themselves, even down to the details of their outfits, but just being very, very present and attentive to what is going on outside of myself versus the mental dialogue. As an experiment, if you are someone that relates to this, next time you're in a social situation where you feel out of place and awkward, see how it feels to take a back seat. Just relax. If you don't have anything to add to the conversation, you don't have to say anything. And if you're really awkward, let yourself be awkward. And if there's an awkward silence, even better, because it's going to be awkward not just for you, but for everyone else too. Practice being okay with being awkward and weird. And that is the surest and fastest way that you're going to find your people. One of the friends that I made recently, I think now we've been friends for a year, but on the very first time that we met up at a coffee shop or something. And by the end of the conversation, we were talking about diarrhea. Okay, I know that's really weird, but I'm someone that loves bathroom humor. And honestly, by being incredibly weird and vulnerable about who I am and what I'm comfortable sharing, it allowed this other person to realize that they also can be open and vulnerable. But whatever it is, things that really show who you are, whether it's a really odd thing that you collect or something that's really unconventional about yourself, how you feel, an opinion. I know not everyone is comfortable to speak openly and deeply about personal things when they first meet someone, and that's totally fine. But there are also people who want to be an open book, who are very willing to share things about themselves that might take other people 10 years to figure out. So depending on the type of person that you are and what kind of friendships you're looking for, be that person. Express those parts of yourself. Kind of like sending out a radio signal and finding the right frequency for someone else to receive it and then send it back to you. The next one is unfamiliar for me because I'm someone that's very comfortable leaning on my friends. But I have spoken to a lot of people who maybe this is like the eldest daughter syndrome, who doesn't want to be a burden to their friends. A lot of times we may think that other people just want to see this joyful, happy version of us that brings so much to the table or is very outgoing or whatever the quality that you think other people perceive to be positive or desirable. If you are that type of person who's afraid of being a burden, I'm going to take a guess and say likely you actually like it when other people come to you for help, because it makes you feel like you're providing value, that you can be a pillar for them, a support for them. Do those people the favor and let them be a pillar for you too. The more we can allow ourselves, even if it feels scary and uncomfortable at first, to reach out to people when we're in a moment of need or just want to chat or talk about something that really bugged you, it will truly deepen the friendship and allow the other person to feel comfortable and safe to tell you about their difficult moments. And not every friend you make has to become your BFF. Don't make the mistake of thinking that you don't have enough time to attend to all those possible friendships, because some of them are just gonna stand out to you. They're gonna feel natural right off the bat. It's gonna feel like even though you just met someone, you've known them for your whole life. But we have to give ourselves the opportunity to find people that do align with who we are and who we want to become, and then make the choice on which friendships you do want to cultivate continuing forward. I'm gonna go get ready now for my dinner tonight with the strangers.
I can't lie, but there was definitely a moment when I was waiting to leave that I was like, wouldn't it be nice to just change into my pajamas, chill, relax, and enjoy the evening at home? I think now I might be running a little late, so let's get on our way. So overall, it was a really great experience. The restaurant we went to was a bit quiet, which kind of turned out well. And it was just kind of really fun and almost charming to have dinner with strangers in the middle of the week. And I ended up really enjoying myself. We really connected and bonded over reading books, going out, doing activities, doing crafts. Something that I think really warmed my heart was that this was a whole group of people that were willing to try new things, and it really showed in our conversation. Yeah, I would highly recommend it if you want to do something out of the norm. Also, just possibly meet really great people and make some new friends. I'll link the app down below, and you can use my code to get 25% off of 1 month subscription. So if you want to try it for yourself, do something interesting and fun for the week. I think if anything, the older we get, the more life we've lived, we are better at being selective and having better discernment about who we allow into our lives and who we keep in our lives. And that's a good thing. The friends that you make when you're older, when you know yourself better and what you prefer and what values are important to you, those connections are even more significant because it's not random or happenstance that you just were in the same workplace or at school together in the same class. These are your chosen families. And as someone that grew up not close to her family, my friends are my chosen families, and they've been such pillars and support in everything that I've gone through. And not just with friends either. I think more and more we're so tuned in on our devices and afraid to talk to each other, afraid to offend each other, that everyone is living in these isolated bubbles. And I know that as someone who used to hate talking to random people or strangers, the more that I've had encounters and experiences with people that I would otherwise never talk to, the more I feel like I'm part of this world. If anything did resonate with you, please like this video and hit that subscribe button if you want to stick around. And leave a comment on how it's been for you trying to make friends as an adult. What's been the most challenging parts and what's actually helped? Thank you, as always, for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.